pandemic, new reports continue finding trillions of dollars were misspent on federal aid. Joining us this morning to discuss, CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jan.
The U.S. Government Accountability Office released this new report showing that $135 billion was stolen during the pandemic. How did this happen, Adam? And how much of that money has been recovered?
Well, the criminals were able to run wild through our unemployment systems. You know, criminals, con artists, and crime syndicates from around the world just racked up huge frauds. And so, look, the government is moving too slow now. We're out 3 years, and this latest estimate of 1 out of every $7 that was stolen from the unemployment system sounds like it's a big number, but it's probably underestimated by at least half. We expect the total fraud coming out of the unemployment aid system to approach $200 billion. You already had Maryland, who audited every single one of their transactions, and half of them were fraud. And the Department of Labor itself says that 21% of all aid was stolen. So this number is still too low and underestimated.
And COVID fraud itself estimated to be around $400 billion because of that rushed rollout and all this lax oversight. So break it down for us. Tell us where all this money went.
So through the myriad of federal programs, you have probably about $200 billion worth of fraud and stolen money out of the unemployment program. You got about another $200 billion worth of fraud out of the small business program administered by the Small Business Administration on the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP. Then you have a myriad of COVID aid programs meant to help people who have real needs. You know, 23 million people at the peak of the pandemic in May of 2020 lost their job. So you got, for instance, temporary assistance to needy families. You got SNAP payments, the nutrition payments, and about $7 billion has already been admitted to improperly paid and stolen out of those programs.
Adam, how does our economy even recover from this level of fraud?
Well, look, you've got the stolen money, but then you have a lot of people participating that didn't need the money. And we're going to break news right on the program this morning. There was tens of billions of dollars that bailed out higher education. And we took a look, Jan, at the top 25 universities with the largest endowments. And so their endowments approached $500 billion. That's money in the bank. They don't need taxpayer help, but they actually took $3.8 billion worth of COVID aid. Now, there was 8 schools that refused the money, like Harvard, Yale, Notre Dame, Stanford. But there was even Ivy League colleges that took the money, like Columbia and Dartmouth and the University of Pennsylvania and Cornell.
Have they been called out? Has anyone asked them why or followed up as to why this was happening?
Congress needs to crack down. Obviously, these schools with a massive run-up in their endowments during the pandemic, their endowments actually soared, Jan, by $135 billion while they took all this COVID aid, $3.8 billion from taxpayers. Those presidents of universities need to be called in front of Congress, and they need to justify why they took the money. Because at the end of the day, every dollar was borrowed against our future and the national debt.
Adam, how do we prevent something like this from happening again?
Well, look, we need systems in place. There's been 26 recommendations just at the Department of Labor on how to prevent the stealing within our unemployment aid program. And there are still 16 out of 26 that have not even been implemented. And then you need clawback. Only $8 billion has been clawed back out of that unemployment aid that's been stolen. So government is just still not serious.
Founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski. We appreciate you joining us on this Friday. It's outrageous. Thank you.
Thank you.